Hello and welcome to another episode of Weekly Deathmatch. This week I have the challenge of, well, first of all, check out this bullshit. Yay, the backfill XP, woo. I have a challenge of not mentioning classic World of Warcraft for the next 8 minutes, because I've been rambling on about that through live streams and Twitter, and you don't want to hear about it this video. So, instead, oh boy, we got a whole bunch of information about Star Wars and stuff, about Disney Plus. Disney Plus not having any launch date in the UK is my prior concern about all of that stuff at the minute, because when shows like The Mandalorian come out, which I'm now interested in, get to that in a second, it's going to be like, oh, everyone's going to be frickin' talking about it because the internet isn't, frickin' limited to one frickin' country, is it? And then, not that that's a bad thing, by the way, but like, I'm going to have to dodge spoilers because of that shit unless I want to pay for a VPN. I don't want to pay for a VPN on top of paying for Disney Plus. Please get on that shit, Disney. God damn it. But on the topic of God damn it, Spider-Man's leaving the MCU. That's actually a terrible segue because that's a completely different subject I want to talk about later. So, firstly, I want to talk about Disney Plus. The trailer for The Mandalorian came out, and I haven't really cared about the series that much up until this point. Like, I always accepted I was going to watch it and try it out, at least. But after having seen that trailer, I'm just like, oh, it's going to be good. Okay. Well, I mean, it looks that way anyway. I'm surprised at the amount of budget they're putting into it. Well, I guess I shouldn't be surprised because it's Disney and it's Star Wars and stuff, but as far as TV shows go, it's very rare that you get one that, has that much budget and that much, the environments look really authentic and all of that, so I'm looking forward to watching that. But more importantly, they've announced an Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and I've been asking for a spin-off Kenobi movie ever since they announced spin-off movies. So I am very pleased that instead we're getting an entire show for him, acted by Ewan McGregor, of course. And it was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. And I'm sorry I had to. So yeah, I've been streaming Lego Star Wars, and it was pretty funny because the day before they announced that, I was going on stream about how I would like some kind of story content. I think I did specify a movie, but a movie for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because, I don't know, I think he's just like one of my favourite characters. Like, I know he's prequel, most of him in the Star Wars universe now is in the prequels and by Ewan McGregor and stuff, and people don't like the prequels, but I think he was pretty much the saving grace of the prequels, even if he is very meme worthy and he still had some interesting writing choices. I think he was probably the best part of the prequels. So yeah, there's that. Also, Spider-Man is leaving the MCU. There we go, got around to it. And that makes me sad. Of course, that makes everyone sad. Although I don't think okay, look, I read comics. I'm not a huge comic reader. I just got Marvel Unlimited like earlier this year, and I've been reading a bunch of comics. I read the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. I also read some of the Amazing Spider-Man comics, like the very, very original Spider-Man. And I've seen all the Spider-Man movies. And Tom Holland isn't actually my favourite version of Spider-Man. Everyone seems to go crazy about him, but I actually think everyone says it's like the most accurate version of the comics version of Spider-Man, but I don't think that's entirely true. But anyway, it is a shame. I am still sad that he's leaving the MCU and stuff, and I don't want another frickin' reboot. Jesus Christ, we've had too many versions of on-screen Spider-Man. I mean, I'm a little conflicted about this though, because, Sony made Spider-Verse, and Spider-Verse is my favourite Spider-Man movie ever made, so there's that. But I mean, it's not like this is going to specifically enable them to make more Spider-Verse. I don't know enough about this deal. If they caved to Marvel, I think they would still be allowed to make Spider-Verse and all that. They would just be making less money from it. So, I don't know, it's just a shame all around. But, we got what we got, and I think Tom Holland alluded to the fact that he's gonna miss the MCU, but he's not stopping as Spidey. Like, the way I might be reading too much into it, but the way his announcement or whatever it was that he said at wherever this is all being announced, I'm so good at this. It sounded like he was still going to be doing Spider-Man movies. It was just only going to be for Sony. So yeah, I mean the last Spider-Man movie ended really interestingly. So it's a shame that they're probably not gonna keep that up. I mean, I guess if you take the MCU elements out of it, this is gonna be really interesting because like I don't think something like this has ever really happened before. And I was really annoyed that I didn't kill that Doomfist, by the way. I don't think anything like this has really happened before, where it's just like, you can keep the franchise, but we're going to have to cut certain parts of the franchise out of the rest of the movie. If anyone knows of anything similar that's happened, let me know, because this is going to be super curious. Or I might just be reading too much into it and they'll just do another reboot and Tom Holland's done. But either way, there is that. Also, holy heckin' shit, Breaking Bad's getting a movie. That's pretty cool. So I've got a funny story behind this actually. Some troll announced Breaking Bad season 6. I think there were 5 seasons of that show. They announced Breaking Bad season 6 on Twitter, and I fell for it. This was a few years back, and I was being like, oh, you know, why is nobody talking about this kind of thing? And then I realised it was a hoax, and I was like, ah, they got me, which would have been fine. Except a couple years later, the exact same thing happened again. So when I saw all of this stuff coming out about there's going to be a Breaking Bad movie, I very thoroughly checked the sources and very quickly found out. I guess it wasn't that thorough because I very quickly found out there's a physical trailer, and I watched the trailer, and it's more of a teaser. But yeah, it's cool. I haven't thought about that universe for a little while, but Breaking Bad, my favourite thing about that show is just, and a few shows do this, I don't really know how to describe it, but like the people watching element of the show, like you have long scenes of no dialogue and just a character like walking around looking at things kind of thing, like, and they don't, you know, have internal monologues going on or anything like that. That's kind of outdated nowadays, that way of doing it anyway. It's just stuff like that I love, and you don't really get that in like other really popular shows that I enjoy, like Game of Thrones. They never really, like, especially in the later seasons, they never really take the time to stop and like let a character breathe in a scene in a room and let you just watch them and wonder what's going through their mind. And that is my absolute favourite thing about that show, and I've only watched through it the one time, so maybe it's time to watch through it again. But yeah, Better Call Saul also did this, and I think I stopped watching about halfway through season 2, but I should probably get back into that because it was pretty good. I didn't stop watching it for any particular reason, and yeah, that's that. So yeah, I'm just spending the rest of the evening, let me navigate my words carefully here, preparing, thinking about how I'm gonna make sure this live stream I'm gonna do looks good while I wait for the launch of WoW Classic. Wait! Shit! Damn it! I said it! I said the words. Yeah, that was obviously a bit. Alright, never mind. I'll see you next week, where I'm sure I'll have plenty to say about that.